everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Deziel and today it's a special request. I'm doing a simple pattern skirt. We'll do the front of a pleated skirt, 2 pleats on each side that finish to nothing at the bottom, so the skirt is not getting any larger. For today's pattern, the skirt with the 2 pleats in the front, I'm going to start with my basic skirt pattern, the one with only 1 dart, but you could also do it with the double dart or 2 dart skirt. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to put some reference point directly on the block. This way we could do the pattern right away. And the first reference we put is the measurement that we have from center front to the pivot. We will report that measurement at the bottom, just like we did to make a princess line. The second and the third reference, it's going to depend on your style. You have to decide where at the waist you're going to place the second pleat. For my part, I'm going to place it pretty much halfway from the original dart to the side seam. And the second thing you're going to decide is the direction you want for that pleat. It could be angled in direction of the hip notch. It could be in the middle if you want, wherever you like on the side seam, or even wherever you want at the bottom of the skirt, but don't go over the princess line level that you marked already. What I'm going to do is get my angle. My reference will be exactly the corner intersection side seam and the bottom of my skirt. That's going to be the angle of my pleat. We're ready to start the tracing. I'm going to trace from the first notch of the dart. I'm going to trace the waist, center front, and the bottom until the first reference that I place. Now, as you know, we want 2 pleats. The first one is going to be exactly where the dart is placed, and the second one a little further towards the side seam. Usually, the first pleat is deeper and the second one is a little less deep. There's no rule for the measurement. I could just propose you some measurement. And for today's style, I decide I'm just going to double the dart. So measure the value that you have and just double it. For me today, it's a 2.5 dart, so I'll just put a mark at 5 cm. In inches, it's 1 inch, so I'll put a mark at 2 inch. Hold the skirt block at the bottom at the reference that you place and pivot the top part until the second notch of the dart align with the reference that we put at 5 centimeters or 2 inches. After its pivot, we're going to trace from the second notch at the waist until the reference that we place. And we're also going to trace at the bottom from the reference all the way to the corner. I told you the second one is a little smaller, or should be a little smaller. If I did put 5 centimeters for the first one, here I'm going to place 4 cm for the second one, or 2 inch for the first one, and 1.5 inches for the second one. At the bottom, I'm going to hold my block directly at the corner, and I'm going to pivot the top part until my reference goes over or align with the reference that I just placed. Then we're going to trace what's missing of the skirt. So from the reference, side seam, all the way to the bottom. If you want to do a press pleat or a soft pleat, doesn't matter. What I suggest for your pattern is that you trace both sides of the pleat to the reference at the bottom and both sides of the pleat to the corner. Then we're going to fold the pleats, and I'm going to start by folding the first side of each pleat. Then we'll be able to fold those two pleats and pin them together temporarily. Because we changed the angle we close at the dart level, it's possible that you have a little correction to do over here at the waist. Remember to keep a 90 degree for about 3 centimeters and use your French curve. Just make a soft curve line from that 90 degree angle to the side seam. Then we're going to use the tracing wheel and just go over where we have the pleat, both of them, and this way we'll have the jug of the pleat. My pattern is going to be on the fold of the fabric, so cut 1. Now I'm going to add my seam allowance at the waist and side seam, and I will add the hem at the bottom. You might have a little point at the bottom that you're going to soften exactly at the first reference. Now I'm going to cut just the hem line. Then I'll be able to fold on my hem line and cut all around the rest of my pattern. I usually close back the dart or the pleat. It's more accurate when it's time to cut with the seam allowance. Now we look at the notch. The first one at the waist center front, I place a half notch because it's on fold of the fabric. Then you have the notch on each side of the first pleat, notch on each side of the second pleat. You're keeping the hip notch, and you place a notch for the hem at the bottom. The skirt pattern for today is finished. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I see you next time.